Well, there's your latest headlines. Hello and welcome to France 24. I'm Louise Hannah. We're just hours away now from the opening ceremony of the biggest sporting event in the world. I'm now joined on set by our international affairs editor, Melissa Bell, for more on this. Thank you for being with us, Melissa. A huge amount of excitement about these Olympic Games, but there has been a fair share of controversy too.
And there always is. Indeed, the Games typically tend to be controversial for financial reasons. No city since Barcelona 30 years ago has actually made a profit from the Games. But it is such a huge event with such huge budgets and the eyes of the world on you that any small step out of line is immediately pounced upon, of course.
It gets magnified. Now, of course, there's a huge amount of national pride at stake for many countries too.
A huge amount of national pride, and of course there are the big countries that really compete, traditionally Russia, the United States, and most recently and successfully China, of course. And if you look at the medals tables over the last few years, going back over the last few Olympics, you really see the American medals decline as the Chinese ones rise until the Chinese beat them at last year's Olympics. Now, the idea is that they hope to achieve this once again, and of course they put a tremendous amount of money in their Olympics programs, state-funded programs. They target specific sports that bring in lots of medals. Canoeing, of course, can bring in 16 gold medals. The men's soccer team can only bring home one. So the Chinese will really target those activities that can bring home the most medals. And so it's almost an industry, the idea to bring home as many gold medals as you can. So the hope will clearly be, and the odds are that the Chinese will once again manage it.
Definitely want to watch. Well, thank you very much, Melissa. That was Melissa Bell, our International Affairs Editor. Well, let's bring you some other world news now. Nearly a week after fighting erupted in Syria's second city, Aleppo, and the US says it fears a massacre is about to take place there. Well, let's get some more on this from our correspondent, Lucy Fielder, who's in neighbouring Beirut. Lucy, the US saying there it fears there'll be a massacre. What evidence is there to support this?
Well, they seem to be basing this on the credible reports coming from activists and opposition figures, which seem very logical, which is that as the regime is facing unprecedented challenge from the rebels inside the city, tank columns are descending on the city. We're also hearing and seeing videos purporting to show helicopter gunships bombarding parts of the city where the rebels have managed to gain a foothold.
Now, Lucy, many are saying that this weekend we'll see a decisive battle for Aleppo. Do you think that'll be the case? Thank you very much for all those details. Lucy Fielder reporting live there from neighbouring Beirut. Well, it's a big day for Greece's Prime Minister. Antonis Samaras has got to persuade the European Union, the International Monetary Fund and the European Central Bank that the country deserves another 31.5 billion euros. That's the last instalment of the 230 billion euro bailout agreed with those three big beasts, also known as the Troika, in return for Greece reducing its massive debt and introducing reforms like tackling tax evasion. Well, earlier our business editor Will Edwards looked at whether Greece has done enough to get its final batch of billions. And that's where we leave this edition. Do stay tuned though, we're back in 20 minutes.